Hello, everyone. It is time for the Lunch and Chat with Leslie live broadcast. That's right, live every Tuesday at 7 p.m. There may be a week or so where I may not have a live broadcast, but I will sure let you know. This is our third week streaming live, and this broadcast is meant to entertain you, it's meant to educate you and inspire you, and most of all, bless you. So if you notice at the bottom of the ticker here, I'm going to talk about the underwriting process. How long does the underwriting process takes? And I have a special guest tonight. He was on the show earlier, the first show. His name is Duncan Tucker with Allied Bank, and he will be on to explain to you about the underwriting process. But before I bring him on, I want to let you know that every month there will be a topic of discussion. So before I end the broadcast, I will let you know what the next topic is going to be about. How does that sound? So without further ado, I want to welcome Duncan Tucker right now to the broadcast. Duncan,
Whoa, hi.
hi. How are
How
you
are you?
doing?
Good,
I
good.
am fine. Glad to have you. Thank you so much for coming on the live broadcast with Lunch and Chat with Leslie. You were my first guest, and I will never forget you. So,
Glad.
look, I just want to let you know I got a special gift for you. It's coming in the mail.
All right. Looking forward to it. I'll toast with you the next time we come on.
Absolutely. Well, I already kind of let the viewers know that we're going to talk about, if you see the ticker down the bottom, how long does the underwriting process take? So I
Mhm.
have a few questions to ask you, Duncan. Not too many, but I want to just start off first by asking you, what is underwriting?
Underwriting is a process that moves you from point A to point B. These things inside underwriting do your verifications. They actually make sure that the lender is solid on the information you've provided, cross-referencing it, and to make sure you are everything that you have on that uniform loan application that your loan officer has taken.
Okay, wonderful. Man, thank you so much for providing an answer for our viewers. If they have any questions, I'll definitely let you know as soon as I get some comments.
Mhm.
So the next question I have for you is basically, why does it take so long, Duncan?
Well, underwriting is a mechanism of a few things, and one of those part of the processes with underwriting is making sure that they've gotten in touch with the new homeowners insurance and making sure that there's a mortgagee clause. Mortgagee is the person who is going to be purchasing your loan or financing your loan, to make sure they are on there as the mortgagee in case something happens. You're getting in touch with the local municipality. These things are done through title. Title is making sure that they're cross-referencing everything with all the plats and the lot and different things that are going to be on the mortgage note and the deed. So to bring a lot of these things together does take a few days. That's what. But if you're on top of things with your information, that's
Okay.
really important. If you're on point with your information, your bank statements, your employment, things like that, your asset statements, and when you're on point with providing everything up front, you can help your process. I know a lot of people, some people in the past have looked at loan processes for 60 days, which is not the way it works. I close loans in 30 days.
Oh, that's
Start.
fantastic.
Okay.
Okay.
With the right documentation, we do 21, as much as
Oh, that's great.
21. So, that's some of the ways that our industry has picked up this underwriting process. So it basically, the answer to this question is, it basically now takes as long as you
Yeah.
the client takes. If you're someone who's up on your documentation and presenting it, I can do my part and get these things expedited. And with the lenders nowadays as well, they can move these things through expedited process. So, we can do these loans right now. I really just closed a loan in 16 days, start to
Whoa,
finish.
that's fantastic.
16 days. We had the appraisal
You hear that,
done
viewers? 16.
immediately. We had made the appraisal done immediately. The client had all the documentation in. We had the file underwritten in 3 days after submission. So basically, we were just waiting on the appraisal and title. They came in, and the next thing we know, we were sending out the CD, which is the closing disclosure. And
Okay.
after you get that closing disclosure, you can close a loan in 72 hours after you get that closing disclosure, if you have the clear to close and a few other things, everything in place. Yes.
That's fantastic, because I want to share something with you. I never forget when I became a homeowner some years ago. I got frustrated. I couldn't understand, why are they bugging me for this information? But as you mentioned, if you have your documentation ready ahead of time, you can
Right.
avoid the delay of being approved. So
Yeah.
now that I know better, and I'm a realtor as well, but I, don't do it full time, but I do know the process. So some
Right.
people do get a little discouraged and distracted. So we just want to let everybody know that, hey, it's just a process, but if you go through the process the right way, you will get approved for your loan.
Yes, it
Excellent.
is.
Thank you for the answer. I do have just a few more questions for you. Okay.
Mhm.
So how soon after underwriting can you close? You had mentioned it that it takes a couple weeks or something you could do it, but realistically, how soon could you close?
Well, again, we're back to the question you just asked me,
Okay.
processing and with your underwriter.
All
So
right.
if you have gone through the process of underwriting and you have what is called a clear to close,
All
you
right.
can close your loan in 3 days after you get your clear to close. And so that's part of the process. Now, uh, after the question is, how soon after underwriting can you close your
Yes.
loan?
Yes.
72 hours. The answer yet. After you've gotten through underwriting, 72 hours, you can close your loan.
Okay. And of course, it's going to depend on what the sellers and the buyer agree upon. So, in the contract, if they want to do it within 30 days, I guess it really depends on what they communicate. But that's good to know. So somebody wants to move in there quickly, you're telling me you can do it within 72 hours.
Yes, absolutely.
Well, I am sure there's a lot of people out there, especially, they have different circumstances. So
Yes. And
there's ever circumstances where they need to get in their house quickly, and they
yes.
want to start decorating and doing everything and being excited. Hey,
Yes.
fantastic. Well, that's good to know. Now, I do have a question to ask you, whether or not this is true, and I know it is, but can you explain to our viewers about this? Can the loan be rejected during closing? Like, we made it to the table, everybody's there, they got to the table. What could possibly happen that the loan is rejected during closing?
Well, Leslie, you and I were boy, we got into this for a few moments, talking about this. Usually, when you get to this particular point, as I mentioned, the T's have been crossed and the I's dotted. And in our world today, let's go back to the CD. That is one of the reasons that it's called a looking period. You get a period, a looking period. That's the reason why you look at the CD. And when you see the CD, it's usually called the final CD. So you're familiar with the numbers.
Yes.
You're familiar with everything that is happening. If you get to the table and there is no deal, there was some unhappiness or dissatisfaction on someone's part before you got to this point, and they just didn't go through with it. But in our industry today, we don't usually get this far to the table without moving forward with a deal for both parties. So there's no surprises at the table. There was years ago. Maybe like when you were talking about.
Yeah. Years
I
ago.
remember when I first got into the business.
Woo.
I know some things that happened where people would get to the table and say expect one interest rate, and it was something else when they got to the table before
Yes.
regulations got put in place. The Dodd-Frank rules that were put into place in 2012 have really, really helped our industry. And
Great.
Dodd-Frank rules are the rules that I am so glad were implemented, through former President Obama and his Democratic Party who put this together. They were very instrumental in our guidelines today. Some people may think that hey, like you said, it may take us a little longer, but
Right.
the thing about it is people are sure there are no hiccups basically when you get to the table, thanks to the Dodd-Frank rules that are put in place today.
Excellent. Excellent. I do try to, as a realtor, stress to people to, because of my own personal experience, to just make sure that before you even try to look for a house, make sure you have your documentations in place.
Right.
Um, Make
And,
sure,
and
because they're going to ask you for a lot. You're going to get frustrated that
right.
the end
Sometimes you
result
will.
is
Yes.
that you will be in your house.
And,
You know,
and and Leslie, it's back to our first podcast that we
right?
did, and the first thing that you as a person want to do when you want to go look for a home is go talk to a mortgage professional. Let
Yeah.
them pull your credit. Let them see your income.
Okay,
We have a mutual friend, Unique.
that's right. Yeah.
Remember? Did you?
Yes.
Well,
Yeah.
I just closed Unique. I just closed Unique in April, and on April the
Wow.
30th, I closed her loan. But her and I got started in August of 2019.
Yes, I
And
remember that.
he laid everything. Said, "This is what I wanted to do, Duncan.
Yeah.
You know exactly what do I need to do to buy the kind of house." And I laid it out for her. And when we got back together in January, she had everything prepared. She had saved the
Oh,
money, the down payment money. She did
yes, you
everything
did.
that we were supposed to do. Her process was just about flawless. It was
Yeah.
just about flawless. It was
Yes.
great. So the first thing you do is go talk to a professional. You have to put your cards on the table. This is my credit. This is how much money I'm working with. This is how much a
Yeah.
house I want to buy. If that's how much house you want to buy, this is how much money you need. I can let you know, where
Okay.
you need to be. So, you can look and really position yourself, have your, if there's some things on your credit, we can get them taken care of before an underwriter even
Oh, that's
sees
great.
them or questions you about them. So,
That is
these are the type of
fantastic.
things that you can do to make your process smoother.
Oh, great. And did you hear that, viewers? Duncan Tucker with Allied First Bank. He is a wonderful senior loan officer, and I've worked with him several times. He has helped people that I know personally, and I can tell you, he will get you to the table. So,
Absolutely.
Duncan Tucker, I put your right information up here, I hope. Is that correct, or did I mess it up again?
No, no, that's correct. And just to let a lot of folks out there know, we one of my specialties are refinances, especially with our veterans. I do VA
Very good.
streamline refinances. Right now, if you have a VA loan and you have a credit score of 680 or above, you actually can get a
What?
2.375% fixed 30-year interest rate.
Wait a minute. Repeat that again. If you are a veteran and you want to
If
get a
you're a
VA loan,
veteran, you
and
have a
what's
VA
the credit
loan.
range again? What's
If
that
you
credit
have a
range again?
680 credit score or above,
Okay.
you can get a 2.375% fixed interest rate, 30-year fixed interest rate.
Duncan, I'm going to have to find me a veteran. I'm going to have to do that.
Absolutely.
That's an excellent rate.
Yes,
Wow.
it's the best rate I have seen in my 25 years of doing mortgage loans. That is the best. And the conventional interest rates are not very bad either. They're actually down to 2.99
Oh
if
no,
you have
that's really good.
720. So, there's back to those good credit scores. You get those good
Exactly.
credit scores are something that actually propels you into saving thousands. People, when you hear those questions, those commercials and different things about the
Yes.
money you can save, it is real money that does not
Mm.
leave your pocket. It is real. It
Oh
is.
my gosh. Well, I do want to ask you this though. Now, in terms of someone whose credit score is not the greatest, how long will you think it takes for them to get, let's say someone has like a 580. How
Well,
long approximately will it take for them to get to that qualifying range, for a house?
Well, the qualifying range right now in our marketplace is
Okay.
640. That is
Okay.
basically the one of the lowest credit scores that lenders are dealing. And a lot of
Okay.
this has to do with the COVID rules that we're dealing with. But
Gotcha.
to get to, if you have a 580, you have to get your credit score pulled. You have to find out what these dings are. You
Yeah.
have to get them addressed. You have to get your credit rescored. You have to make sure you have three car payment, a car loan, two credit cards. Get them, pay them off so that your credit score can be enhanced.
Okay.
And that's how you enhance your credit scores.
Okay.
And the lower the balance is, the more it stays up. But one of the greatest things that you can do is get rid of any dings and things that hamper your credit each and every month. Now,
Okay.
the time frame that it may take you to get from 580 to 640 could
Yeah.
be about 12 months, to tell you the
That's
truth.
not bad. That
Yeah,
really isn't
it
bad.
takes you
Okay.
about 12 months, but you can get there with those two things: eliminating the dings on your credit and actually opening up one or two accounts and being responsible. It helps you. It helps you.
Okay. Oh my God, that is fantastic. Now, would you like to? I would like for you to also point out what your email address is. What's the best form of communication for our viewers to contact you? Is it through your phone, email? What do you prefer?
I actually prefer email. Like most everyone, I can answer your questions and we can take it
Okay.
from there. dtucker@alliedfirst.com. I work for Allied First Bank, but the email address is dtucker@alliedfirst.com. You can email me. I tell people, if you're refinancing and you want to get some numbers, just send me over your mortgage statement, your current one, and give me an idea of where your credit scores are, and we can take it from there. I can give you a very good idea of what you can expect as far as the interest rate, where the new monthly payment lies, things of that particular nature. And we can get into looking at your credit scores and seeing exactly how the actual credit scores and see how they affect the kind of interest rate you will get. We work in a tier driven system.
Okay.
From 640, 660, 680, 700, 720, 740. Those are the levels. And
Okay.
where your credit score lies in those areas, that's where
Your
you
interest rate.
that kind of interest rate
Yeah.
or cost for that particular interest rate
Gotcha.
level. So
Okay. Man, you know what? This information is so informative. I really thank you for sharing this
it's
with our
been
viewers because there are, let me just say, just people in general, we're a little bit naive, maybe even I was growing up. I didn't know anything about acquiring a loan or what you need. So
yeah,
it's good to get a head start. So
yeah,
people don't take advantage of this now, where they can get a head start on preparing for a home loan. It's an American dream to own a home.
yes,
Rent is so high. So if
yes,
you could buy, why rent? So
right. Well,
Dr. Tucker is prepared to help you. You just
yes,
got to reach out to him, and
yes.
he'll get you started.
It
So
would be my
Dr.
pleasure.
So Duncan, I'm looking to buy $1 million house. I'm gonna make sure I come to you. Okay.
Look forward to it.
It's coming. I'm calling it. I'm claiming it.
Look forward
But,
to it.
but don't go anywhere because I'm getting ready to wrap it up, but I want you to stay online with me, okay?
Okay.
So, first of all, I want to thank my viewers for coming on the live stream again. Every week, I promise you're going to get some informative information, something that is going to spark your interest. Every month is a different topic. So next month, I'm just shifting a little bit, but we'll be coming back to financial stuff and real estate because it's never enough time to cover everything. But I do want to say that the next segment is going to be it's our wellness segment. It's talk about overcoming grief and trauma. You don't want to miss this segment. It's going to be really good. So Duncan, if you could tune into, I would greatly appreciate it. Tell your friends and anybody that's on this live stream that tell them to make sure they come on. It's going to be July. Let me make sure I got my date right. I think it's July the 9th. It's not the 9th. I apologize. It's the 7th, I think. If that's a Tuesday, I think
the 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th.
next
Yes.
next is that's when I hope the viewers will be on.
Well,
but Dr.
I definitely will be tuning in.
enjoyed this broadcast with you, and I thank you, and I hope you come back on the show again. So,
looking so forward to it.
Cheers to you. Yeah.
Cheers. Thank you. Have a good evening.
Okay, you have a good evening. Take care. Bye-bye.